With life comes great sacrifices. And so far living, I've realized I've never been able to reach the point of my life where I could have the whole pie. When it came to jobs, I always thought that me having this job, getting income from this job, and being able to pay my bills was the greater good, even if my mental health was slipping. I want to bring up the living wages. The government says that the living wages can be $15. You can survive off $15. I don't know where you're staying at, what state, county, town you live in, where you can make $15 an hour and make a good living off of that. But that's what the government says, right? And what bothers me is that there are some people, let's just get straight into it. There are some people that no matter how many jobs they have, there are some people nowadays that just cannot move out, change their lives, become independent. Now, more than ever, you are seeing a lot of kids, grown kids, let me rephrase that, grown kids moving back into the households of their parents because it's just hard living out here by ourselves. Damn near impossible. I know people with great salaries living with their families, and I know people with shitty salaries living with their families. And you would think like, oh, you just got to make a certain amount to live by yourself. You just got to make this. You just have to work here. You got to get this type of degree. You have to be at this spot so you can just live. And I don't think people understand it should not be this hard. Do you get that? It should not be this hard to have independence, to have a place of your own, to have to constantly have to pay bills, keep a roof over your head, to feed yourself, to have shelter. It should not be this hard. And because of that, we sacrifice so much, whether that's time, whether that's love, whether that's our mental health. We as humans make so many sacrifices so we can live. And because of that, none of us, well, a lot of us, I'll say, never get to the point where we can just have the whole piece of the pie, where we can be financially stable, mentally stable, physically good, spiritually okay. Something is always lacking whenever you talk to any human that walks this planet. I promise you, I don't care what level you are at in society when it comes to salary and income. You can go to anybody on this planet and ask, where are they lacking when it comes to their lives? And there's always some type of sacrifice they're doing because they think it's for the greater good. I've seen, even for me, too many people stay in jobs longer than they should have because they needed it. And they needed it to pay bills and to survive. I've seen people put themselves through the fucking ringer because they think if I struggle now, eventually everything will be okay. But the way times are and how things are working out and playing out, bitch, it's never going to be okay. And that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that even with $100,000 salary, you can't have your independence these days. I know people that make $250 a year. Do you understand that? $250 a year, and they live with their family, and not because they want to, honey. No, it's not because they want to. It's because to get to that point of making 250 a year, they're drowning in fucking student debt. They're drowning in bills. The gas prices are up, housing prices. If you had a job that paid you that much and you still can't even afford to live by yourself, that's fucking crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That even a person that walks around with a PhD can't even afford to live by themselves nowadays. And you're sitting here telling me that if somebody with a $250,000 salary can't afford to live by themselves, you're telling me somebody that made $15 an hour can? That's bonkers. That's bonkers. Because it's really giving that we're just all just slaves. Just slaves to capitalism. That's what it's really giving. And that is the sad part about it, is that independence, okay, is so romanticized. Get your own place, have your own house by 25, have kids, whatever, you know what I mean? Have your life figured out by 30 at least. If you don't have shit figured out by 30, then you're a bum. That's really what's romanticized in America. And I'm sure in a lot of other countries and states. But the reality is there's a lot of people out here that just can't do it. That just can't live on their own. No matter how much money they have, no matter how hard they work, how many jobs they have, there's just some people that aren't going to get to that point where they reach that unrealistic standard of society. And because of that, it's sad that we will continue to have to live our lives trying to figure out where are we going to make sacrifices. Trying to figure out, what do I have to give up so I can be comfortable? All I'm saying is, if you are a person that still lives with their family, that had to move back in with their family, a person that you feel like, I'm at a certain age, I shouldn't be here, I'm too old, I'm this, I'm that, I should have my own place. Listen, we are living in completely different times. Completely different times. And if you're 30, hell, if you're 40, if you're 25, if you're 27, if you're 21, living with your folks, living with roommates, don't be too hard on yourself. Life is so fucking hard. And I say that with the most oomph in my chest. Life is fucking hard, okay? So don't beat yourself down, killing yourself working and working to try to fit into some unrealistic standard that just nowadays it's not going to work. Because like I said, if I know people that make $250,000 a year and still can't live by themselves, I'm not going to expect you to have a $40,000 salary and be out here by yourself. I'm not going to do it. It's impossible nowadays. But what we have to start doing is stop looking at the people that are moving back in with their families, getting all these roommates and downing them and making them look like bums and making them look like they ain't shit, when just in reality, in a couple years, that's all we're going to be doing is just living under one big ass household, just trying to survive. People got to realize that we are trying to survive, nothing more, nothing less. So why are we looking at the next person and judging them for their living conditions and judging them for where they're at and who they're with and How hard they're working or how hard they're not working, it does not fucking matter, y'all. It does not fucking matter. The truth is, we're all trying to survive, to get to the next day, to feed ourselves, to be happy. And some of us, the sad fact is, some of us are just not going to get the whole piece of the pie. But do not look down on yourself because you're a good person and you worked hard. And don't look at the degrees that hang on your wall and think these are fucking worthless. Don't look at your job. Don't, just know you are trying, bro. You are fucking trying. And that's all that matters. I don't care if you have a PhD. I don't care if you have just a high school diploma. I don't even care if you don't even have a fucking GED. Just know you're trying nowadays, and that's all that matters. It's hard, bro. It is hard getting through this life with the people you love, with the people you hate, with the people that are just around. It's hard, and we're all fighting our battles, are now going through our stories the way we need to. So just be easy on yourself. If you can't live by yourself, be easy on yourself. If you can't pay these bills or if you're struggling, because what comes you being a person that don't have shit, there's a million other motherfuckers that don't got shit either, that's broken and struggling too. So be easy on yourself when it comes to life, because that's all we got is just trying to survive. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.